All right, let's start with the essentials. First of all, I run a motherfucking blog because I do this full time. So y'all, give it the fuck up right about now. Yes. I've been holding out, trying not to cry all night, so I made some notes to keep myself composed. First of all, this is a dream come true. So as much as Amir wants everybody to talk a bunch of shit on him, y'all give it up one more time for Amir. Yeah! I worked for 5 years as a poet, 3 years as a slam master and founder of Pound Slam, which is now Kansas City Poetry Slam, because I believe in being able to Google shit easily, right? This is the only place in my life and all of the things that I have done to define myself. Poetry is the only thing that I have excelled at, and I have excelled by my own standards. This has saved my life. This has defined my life. And because you are here tonight, it makes it worth it. So thank you. And he hasn't left. And tonight he's here. So I would like you all to just please give a big round of applause for my best friend Ryan. He drove all the way here tonight. I know who I am because of him. And I didn't give him a shout out in Austin last night because he was drunk and wasn't listening anyway. So last note I've got for you. This coming Monday, I will celebrate 1 year as a published poet. Someone took my work. Why not give it a chance, right? I have 5 books left. 5 books. They are $10 a piece, and it would mean everything to me if I left this show tonight shut down on that first book, as the second one comes out in June. So come see me after the show, please. That's what's up. Thank you. And you can get a free album because I'm feeling generous. So whatever. I know, right? All right, on to the poetry. Y'all ready for this? I'm a woman, just not my wife anymore. But instead of telling anybody that I was getting a divorce, I just stopped posting pictures of us. And then, like, 20 minutes later, I met this hot piece of ass that then became my girlfriend. And I was posting pictures of us, and I got so many shitty messages from people saying, like, how dare you? What are you doing? You didn't ask our permission to get divorced, much less be happier with someone else. So I wrote a poem as a big fuck you to all those people who had something to say about the decisions that I make to make me happy. So, right. Hashtag fuck 'em is right. This poem has 4 working titles. Here we go. On luck. They will most often pick the side with the most recognizable demarcation, face value. This is how you'll learn that certain friends of yours are worthless, because they will only take interest in what can be spent, so you will have to save yourself. Your spirituality will be judged if it's braless or too buttoned up. You will be shunned for finding goddess between the legs of another woman. You will be ostracized at your outrage at the invisible wrongs done to you, while everyone presumes that she who left first must have been running, must have been taking everything with her. Disappearance. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. BEAGGRESS. I fucking knew this was gonna happen. The first time I thought about opening my mouth 2 years ago, but I was quick to cut out my own tongue and roast it in repentance for wanting more than a lukewarm porridge life, and then forced to savor its sour flavor for years, for the appeasement of wolves in sheep's clothing, whose resignation to their own dissatisfaction had me disillusioned until I was counting them jumping over the moon, counting them as friends. The circle's old and has no end, and that's how long we'll all pretend that some marriages don't just end. Someone's a quitter and someone's a victim, and that's how we all get dragged into this binary system of right and wrong ways to live happily ever after. If it is against the moral code of women worldwide to speak ill of fairy tales that end in I do, then I don't want to be a part of your world any fucking more, because I am sick with bed sores from wallowing in my own apathy, and I am drowning in my own forced smiles. I refuse to continue falling asleep counting my thread count as a blessing, and I won't rocking chair embroider all of my talent and strength and sexuality into something you can frame and call beautiful. I won't justify, but I will vilify the way I have been treated by these queens and serfs, like my truth is as feasible as a genie in a bottle or a magic carpet ride. You would do well to remember before you convict me criminal that the freedom you exercise to take delight in my demise is a compromise in your own karmatic enterprise, because at some point we will all fall from grace, and the only way to reincarnate is to have a soul left to compensate for your underwhelming performance as a human. My tongue is a heavyweight champion, mightier than the pen, and you do not want to go toe-to-toe with me if you want to leave the ring of this life with your ignorance intact. I no longer write poetry like that. I will tell you all the ugly truths of my pretty lies, and I won't apologize anymore for wanting something more. Thank you. I've been in the mood to do some sad love poems, but I think I'm going to spit y'all the first slam poem I ever wrote that mattered at all. So this piece is called Owned. I think my parents were distressed that I was gay, because heterosexuality was the last strain of something in common between us. When they realized that their oldest baby girl would be dining on pussy for the rest of her life, they did what any normal, loving, church-manipulated redneck Americans would do. They disowned me. They fucking disowned me. To disown implies ownership, which by all dry, drunk, submissive role, head of household, master of ceremonies bullshit was entirely true. I was owned, bought and sold into a slavery of conservative womanhood as if reincarnated to learn the real truth. But now that I am grown and owned by no one, I still walk quickly down these dark alleyways as this excess of X chromosomes has left me with a handicap of femininity. Despite that when I spit these words, they're thicker than blood and stronger than venom. And when I spit these words, it is always in protest of the minimum I dare anyone in here. To Martin Luther King, your ass to a stage. Harvey Milk, your way to a podium. And stop sending your love notes on your fucking iPhones. Put a pen to a page. Put a pen to a page, like every server in this world may one day crash, and what you have to say matters. Because what you have to say matters. So write it down. Carry it on your back and pray it never gets caught in a house fire. And for far too long now, I personally have romanticized the way poets grip fist around neck of cheap wine bottle to choke the oxygen out of the fire of our creative selves, but no longer. No longer. Me, I'm gonna be an animated storyteller with that reggae swag and a Maya Angelou hymn in my throat, carrying the confidence of heritage and eons of oppression overturned, and sometimes I am. And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm just a white girl with a bruising tale, daring you to dare me to dare myself to succeed, and I exist here on this stage to dare you to dare yourselves to do the same. So I appreciate you listening to these last 10 stanzas, which poorly explained 9 bad relationships, which ate away the very potential 7 fucking shrinks never suggested I had. I spent 6 goddamn years as a part-time student, acquiring 5 figures in debt, 4 going degrees at 3 different universities, too small to cultivate my one aspiration: to live out loud, infinitely, as a poet.
This is the awkward part of the show where I interrupt the feature.
Thank you.
What a jerk. Huh?
What a jerk.
What a jerk. You're a jerk. Do me a favor.
What a jerker.
Jen, you said you have books for sale?
I do have books for sale and albums that I... Books are 10, albums are 10. I might give you a free one if you... Well, you can show me your tits. I'll give you a free one for that.
Only $10!
Also, Jen came all the way from Kansas City, so we want to make sure that she has enough gas to go back home, but also come back here and visit us again. So to show that I'm not a hippopotamus, I'm going to leave a tip too. And I'm going to pass this tip jar around, and I'm going to let her keep going with her feature.
Thank you all so much. Thank you. Having a good time so far? What an incredible night, right? Yes! I know, right? Some incredible poets on this stage. I'm so grateful. So this next poem is called Pomegranate, and it is the first love poem I ever wrote to my new girlfriend. And it's a conversation about all those fears that you have when you meet somebody too soon, or too soon in general for someone else. I don't know what too soon is, but it seems like there's a timeline. Your lips are stained the color of pomegranate, like you've been consuming something tough and small for a very long time, hoping to feel full. I offer you the field of ripe strawberries that are my lips. Taste the wind and the sun in every breathless embrace. There is a darkness in the arch of your eyeshadow tonight, thematic of every woman who ever left me first. I get scared sometimes. Recollections have that power. You are not a recollection. I do not hold you to my fear to drip like wax against heat. It's just me, trying to trust me again. You kiss me like you know what being in love on Christmas morning is like, and you fuck me like you know what being in love with a careless person is like. Like, if you don't show me what you're capable of now, there's a chance I won't go looking for it later, and you want to be seen, remembered, returned to. There is something in the way you tug at the zipper on the costume of who I am, asking me to step out or let you in. Your delight has rumbled awake a giant in me who has been waiting to play with someone her own size. There is a voice inside of me that wants to whisper to you all the pretty promises I have never been able to keep. Our promises have left room for disappointment, like they were expecting company. So what can I say to you that I can't build an argument against? This is the battle I'm currently waging. Because I have told many women that the elephant in the room is only origami and to pay it no mind. I have been wanted before, been the best thing that's ever happened to at least 3 people. I have been through hell and back to keep my loves alive, and I have never succeeded. I want this time to be different. So here's what I ask of you. If there really is a God, and he's up there taking roll and making everyone explain themselves before they can walk through the pearly gates and into heaven, love me like it is the only thing you will be judged upon. All right, I got two more for you tonight. Y'all good with that?
Yeah!
This next poem is called Fortress, and though we are no longer together, I will never not mean it. Our bedroom is a fortress, where the laws of physics are suspended like zip lines from birth to death. Here, in this place, we take quantum leaps toward intimacy with absolute zero hesitation to escape the everyday grind velocity. I'm never, ever coming down from this cloud 9. Years ago, I was susceptible to obsession, which ate away at being around the clock. 7 days a week, I would fret frantically about recreating the innocence of 16 Candles romance, but when it came time for commitment, I had a 5-finger fist full of excuses that would throw punches at you if you crept closer to me for anything other than foreplay. 3 little words to be honored between 2 people. The one. She is the one. My heart knew it right away, but my hands only knew how to handle bar crowds and the intoxicating reverberation of microphones, so much so that I considered swallowing one whole just so she could hear exactly what was happening inside of me. Because being in true love feels like nothing you can't anticipate. When her arms wrapped around helium me, I couldn't remember what else kept me grounded all day long, and her hands were as soft as dove's wings, folding gentle as prayer into my own. Her kiss was as dense as mercury. My temper was tempered by her conducting touch. She regulated my heart, which is made of compressed glass, and it is able to take a beat and a beat and a beating before crumbling into a crumb trail from the birthplace of my burdens to the doorway of this sanctuary where I am cast into the depths with my anchor, and I can't remember what else weighed me down all day long. Now the one, she called me 2 years ago plus 3 last July with 3 little words meant just for me. For 5 years we've been calculating the pros and cons. I put 6 states between us because I couldn't shake the 7-year itch of wanting her. For 8 months we were silent, but the 9th, oh, that sweet 9th, it gave birth to our longevity. So I reached out across grateful divide, palms to the sun, 10 fingers spread wide, love's radiant refraction upon my reflection, the acoustics of her voice. She called me home. Our bedroom was a fortress. Her arms a drawbridge, her kiss a reverie. Our love was a sanctuary. Thank you. Thank you all so much for having me here tonight. I'm so grateful to you. My last poem of the night was inspired by my terribly depressive slam poetry team a couple of years ago. I know, right? I know you feel me. Everybody comes in and we all got sad shit to talk about, and it's exhausting. And I was like, I have an idea. Everybody go home and write something that makes you happy.
Yes!
Best poem that ever came back from that demand of mine was a girl writing a poem about how the zombie apocalypse would make her happy. Because then she could knock shit over at Home Depot, do whatever she wanted, right? It was a great poem. I don't judge it. Audience loves it. But I challenged myself to that too, and I looked around my home and I was like, what makes me happier than anything else in the world? Or at least enough to write about it. And I decided upon my shower curtain. So this poem is called Shower Curtain.
Yeah!
Feel free to enjoy. My shower curtain has known me longer than any of my lovers. It's kept my tears in the tub and blocked out the sun of unwelcome dawns. It's musty with the history of my mildewing melodramas. The watercolor ink splatters taking the shape of blue fish and red petunias. It is my cloak, behind which I have played both coy and coward, been embraced and rejected. I've held on to it for dear life, backhanded, battered it when it clung too tightly, slammed shut and ripped open its shrill metal accordion melody, the soundtrack of both my beginnings and endings. Oh, shower curtain. You were once the newest thing I owned, the most adult, and the most expensive. $24.99 at IKEA. When I took you home that first night with matching towels and bath mat, I unwrapped you with the delicacy of a tissue paper Tiffany's box. You meant something. You meant I finally had a home safe enough to make monthly decisions in. You comforted my flu and my whiskey stomach with your maternal familiarity. You were the only vinyl I could afford. You meant art and privacy, sanctuary and stability. You meant I am my mother's daughter, the kind of woman who decorates, even the bathroom. Oh, shower curtain. You know all of my truths. You know me Midwest meltdown and California cocaine, and sometimes you're the only one who knows I cried that day. You see the clockwork of vitamins, the inconsistency of flossing, the toenails, the toothbrush, the earring behind the toilet. You are a watercolor mural of nonsensical dribbles to the next contour, and I just realized tonight, brushing you off of my staticky arm, that you have never scoffed at my weight. Contrary, you try to hug my body in its most vulnerable form. You have protected me from fights. The way you harmonize the shrieking shower head with the temperature nozzles to make my ex-wife's arguments inaudible is pure magic. You are among my favorite things, especially when you dance on a mowed lawn breeze while I wash the green down the sink. Oh, shower curtain. You really know how to make a girl feel at home. Thank you guys so much.